I'm Russ Kickle, and on this episode of American Reef, we've got 3 reef keeping tips from the pros over at Top Shelf Aquatics. So when Kevin Berta, who was one of the owners over at Top Shelf, was actually designing the new coral farm expansion, they wanted to basically solve some problems that they've experienced through the years, which, again, the reason I do these videos, right? That being said, today's video, we're going to review what 3 of those problems were and how they solved them. The 3 areas: number 1, auto top-off. Again, ultimately having backups to backups and making sure that, with all that coral in their farms, that they were protecting it, as well as making sure to keeping those parameters consistent. Right, so auto top off was 1. Number 2, the stands, right? Meaning most of these stands are built out of wood. Wood and water, over time, bad things happen, right? And basically they come with a real ingenious kind of solution to basically making those wooden stands impenetrable to water and actually look pretty freaking awesome also. And then lastly, as you would expect, for coral farms, you're always putting your hands in tanks and trying to reach for things, and sometimes that can get challenging. So again, they came up with another solution to try to solve that problem based on the various heights of the individuals that actually work trying to maintain that farm. So again, 3 solutions that at the end of the day will be beneficial to not only the newbie and the hobbyist, but also somebody who's a veteran, because I know for sure one of them you guys probably haven't seen before. So that's basically the agenda for today's video. Also, as far as videos that kind of complement that, Bulk Reef Supply just did one on return pump mistakes, right? Common mistakes made, which again, to me, is priceless. They have a ton of them in there. It kind of follows this theme. And then lastly, the Premium Aquatics YouTube channel. Ultimately, they did one, I want to say pest is in the title, but it's flatworms, right? Getting rid of flatworms, what they look like, etc. So if you're a newbie and you've never experienced those before, it's a great video to watch. And then lastly, on the American Reef HPD, if you've ordered HPD from me in the past, whatever, you know that I normally try to get that food out every day. With this whole COVID-19 kind of stuff going on, it's been basically postponed to once a week. So again, if you've ordered HPD, check your email. I try to do a good job communicating when the food will go out, and just to kind of set expectations, so to speak. So again, that being said, if you've ordered the HPD from AmericanReefHPD.com, check your email and it'll give you an idea of when that order will come. Okay, so we were just talking about, again, the auto top off. Repeat that again, because again, us rookies at home, I don't have anything like you got to subscribe.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I've been through all that fun where you had some failures in equipment, and you come in and you gotta get the mop out and the shop vac. With the old farm tanks and the old systems, we try to learn from our mistakes and do it better each time. So what we accomplished here, I think, is really getting redundancy down to a T. So what we have is this system being fed, and all the farm tanks being fed from a 1,000-gallon freshwater water drum through a booster pump, running lines through the ceiling, which then drops down, goes through the mechanical float valve here, which acts as a backup for the electronic float, which is hooked to a solenoid valve, which cuts it off when that's full. And then that is run through the apex to fire multiple times throughout the day, where we can kind of have it, top off fresh water in bursts, where we don't have to worry about, the pump running all the time every time it kicks on and off just a little bit, because they tend to wear out a little faster. In addition to that, we have the apex float hooked up as well as a third set of precautions, just in case something goes wrong in here in general. So pretty much the water level, anything can happen, but I don't think this tank will ever overflow and have to worry about, the fresh water getting dumped in here, dropping the salinity, that kind of thing. And even if it did, we have the notifications set up through the Apex system as well to let us know.
So you'll know, hey, it's wet. Well, okay, so to that point, even with your stands, for example, I noticed they're kind of like shiny, they're coated with something. What's the what do you got going on there?
This was an interesting idea. The whole thing when we started this, we wanted something that was going to last. And we had priced out some different stuff with aluminum stands, but I was actually able to construct these with the help from a friend who had built these out of 2x4s. Now, look closely at that. What does that feel like when you touch it and see it? I mean, to me, it's like tar almost. It feels truck
like
bed liner.
Ah, there you go.
So we wanted it to be extra durable. So we pretty much coated this real thick with a truck bed liner. It's Herculiner is the product. It literally absorbs into the wood about that far and makes a impenetrable rubber coating. I mean, really, even durability-wise, you hit this thing with a hammer, it almost has a bouncy feel to it. So, we just didn't want to have any of the screws rust out on us, any of the wood start to kind of rot away. So we got the whole thing pretty much coated in a truck bed liner.
What a great idea.
So it should be built to last in here. That's the goal.
Okay, so now, and on the bottom where you have your tanks, is that solid, hollow? How's that going?
It has boards running across, like the actual 2x4s for support, and then big plank of, I think it's 3/4 inch plywood. Again, all coated in the bottom and on the top with that Herculiner as well. So should all be built to last, rock solid.
Okay, well, speaking of rock solid, the other thing that I noticed right behind you, that big chrome thing. Now, what the hell is that?
Well, when I was designing most of these systems, I mean, obviously I'm a tall guy, I can reach there, it's not a problem. We had a lot of these systems too, where we wanted to be very accessible to do maintenance and access the frag tank over here without having to kind of squeeze in. So the heights were kind of dictated by that, and the heights of the tank were made for water volume rather than it just being a shallow frag tank. We wanted to have it be very, very stable. So this is for the short people who work there. So you can kind of get in here and reach across.
There it is.
Grab as many frags and get access to all that stuff that you want. So long term, these tanks that you're standing between are going to be mostly the corals that are skewed online and for sale. So pretty much we're packing and boxing. We want to have it to the point where 2 or 3 people can be here just grabbing coral and going and going and going, not having to get up on a step stool every time. So this was a great idea, made out of aluminum, so it's going to hold up to the saltwater wear and tear that's going to be on this. And, overall should be good.
And again, I look at that and I'm going, it's top shelf again, right? There's nothing like remotely like cheap looking, feeling, anything about that. It's like so sturdy. But it moves back and forth too, right?
Yeah, we're actually in the works of putting wheels on it so we can kind of move it in and out. Just so we have a little more access over here when we're trying to do maintenance and stuff. And then on packing days, we can just pull it out, roll it almost like a wheelbarrow right over here, and hop up on here and get loading up and sending all the stuff up to the customers.
What a great idea.